As a young Christian, I think I'd have described myself as a reluctant complementarian. Not that we had that term in those days, and not that I think it's a very good term now, because I think it's better termed hierarchical, because that really is what it means. Because we believed, I think, as I grew up as a young Christian, that women had to be subject to men, that women were not allowed to speak in certain circumstances, and they certainly couldn't be leaders. Yet I was very reluctant to hold that view, and I was reluctant for a number of reasons. First of all, just intuitively, I felt that something was wrong. Secondly, I had been blessed and helped by so many women in ministry that God had clearly anointed and God had clearly used. I think of an amazing woman called Eunice Diamond, who was a missionary in the Philippines. And Eunice was involved in translating scriptures, was involved in leading and planting churches, had great respect in the Philippines, not just amongst the local population or the Christian population, but was respected amongst the Muslim population. So much so that she was actually kidnapped at one stage and held captive. But she was released, and her story was very instrumental in touching my parents' lives and in them becoming Christians. Yet when Eunice came home from the Philippines, she wasn't allowed to speak to the church. We could interview her, we could listen to her tell her testimony, but she couldn't minister to her home church in England in the way that she was clearly ministering and leading in the Philippines. So something for me just felt wrong. And as I was wrestling with these issues, I really wanted to accept women fully into leadership, but I also wanted to remain faithful to Scripture, or my understanding of Scripture. And I really wish that back then, when I was wrestling with these issues, that there'd been people around like Lucy Peppiatt, who would help us bring scholarly and great wisdom to Scripture and help us unpack some of the issues that I was wrestling with. And that's why I really want to commend the day that we have with Lucy Peppiatt coming up. Please do sign up. You may be convinced in your own mind that you don't need to be convinced that women can be used in ministry. You're already convinced of that. But I know that listening to Lucy will actually help you and will strengthen your own faith and your own resolve and your own ability to handle Scripture. It may be that, like the young me, you're kind of sitting on the fence a little bit. You're reluctantly holding on to a complementarian position. Well, I know that whilst Lucy might not convince you, she'll certainly give you some tools to help you wrestle with some of the Scriptures and some of the obstacles that you're facing. So I really commend, come along to the date, put it in your diaries, and come and listen to what Lucy has to say, and come and share with many of us that have been on this journey for many years. I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. God bless you.